Land Rover's flagship SUV was first shown at the Paris Motor Show in the fall of 2012, and already at the beginning of next year, the car began to be sold in Russia. An SUV could be purchased from us with a 3.0-liter petrol V6, 340 horsepower, or a 5-liter V8, 510 and 550 horsepower, as well as a 3-liter V6 turbo diesel, 248 horsepower, and a V8, 339 horsepower. S, with a volume of 4.4 liters. All engines were mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. All Range Rovers for the Russian market were exclusively all-wheel drive. We also sold long versions. They were 200 millimeters longer than the usual modification, and all the increase was due to an increase in the wheelbase. In 2017, the SUV underwent a restyling, as a result of which the appearance of the Range Rover changed slightly, and new engines appeared. Whatever version you get a used Range Rover in, its body will be in perfect condition, but only on the condition that the car has not been in a serious accident with subsequent careless restoration. After all, the SUV has a completely aluminum body, which a priori does not give a damn about corrosion, and the paintwork is distinguished by the resistance of a sprinter athlete. Chips, if any, appear only after several years of operation, and the body itself, despite the external lightness and airiness, is distinguished by outstanding strength and rigidity. Our winters are not so easily tolerated by the chrome coating of external decor elements. It can become cloudy even on relatively fresh specimens. However, dealers assured that on restyled cars manufactured in 2017 and younger, there are no such problems. But owners often complain about jammed door locks, due to the breakdown of which it can be impossible to enter the salon. Most often this affects the front doors and the trunk lid. They say that in 2013 to 2014, all door locks accounted for up to 70% of marriage. True, dealers, without further ado, changed them to new mechanisms under warranty for everyone who applied. Since 2015, this problem has been forgotten, as the company changed the supplier of locks. But they continued to upset weak hinges, because of which the drivers and rear doors sagged. But by the 2016 model year, this malfunction was a thing of the past. The company took measures to eliminate this defect. It happened that the keyless entry system was also junk. The problem was usually solved by reprogramming the software at the dealer. Multimedia glitches are also annoying, and the audio system is capricious in choosing flashcards. It does not read all the records. On the first machines, the software was shaky, although measures were repeatedly taken to solve it, and the system was regularly upgraded. However, the parking sensors and the rear view camera are occasionally buggy. The multimedia system and the electric parking brake are naughty. The bulbs in the headlights and lanterns are off. In general, onboard electronics are prone to failure. In fairness, it should be noted that all these metamorphoses pass by themselves after a blackout, removing the negative terminal of the battery for a while or restarting the engine. By the way, you need to monitor the battery. It can be discharged if several power sources are involved at once or, for example, an audio system with a power of under 1000 watts plays for an unacceptably long time when the engine is not running. Updated software settings are unlikely to help the disappearance of crickets, which in some instances take root well and even multiply. True, rare specimens can boast of this wealth. As a rule, silence reigns inside a luxury SUV. Standard sound insulation is very effective, and the interior is pleased with high quality and expensive finishing materials. To match the heroic appearance and respectable interior decoration, a set of engines. Even the weakest gasoline V6 has a power of 340 horsepower, which has appeared in the engine line since 2014. And in 2016, the company with the 510 horsepower V8 was the 8th of a similar volume with a return of 550 horses. After restyling, V8 engines began to produce 525 and 565 horses. However, there is also a 2-liter Turbo 4 in the range, which works as part of a hybrid installation. I must say that in general, gasoline engines are reliable and durable at the same time. Breakdowns happen, but they are not massive and do not pull on statistics. Outstanding power here is achieved by the presence of a compressor instead of a traditional turbocharger. This design solution was previously widely used by many automotive manufacturers. This made it possible to significantly increase the power and torque of the motors. True, this also significantly increased harmful emissions into the atmosphere and, especially, fuel consumption. Therefore, in the last 2 to 3 decades, when the struggle for exhaust purity and efficiency has assumed rampant proportions, such engines were forgotten for a while. English Minders decided to revive supercharged V-shaped gasoline engines, simultaneously solving environmental problems. By the way, the appetite of the engines has become quite modest for units of this size. In addition, over the long years of production, most of the children's sores in compressor V6 and V8 have already been almost completely cured. Although minor breakdowns, such as premature failure of the generator, coils and spark plugs, engine cooling radiators and air conditioning, drive belt and timing chain, still occur. On the predecessor and the first cars, there were cases of stretching the timing chain on these engines already by 50 to 80,000 kilometers. But the measures taken to increase the resource of the node made it possible to forget about the chain up to 200,000 kilometers. This no longer happens on SUVs under 5 years old. When choosing a car, remember that the V8 is much more expensive in content than the V6. In addition, the cost of motor parts for an English SUV is quite high, and they do not hesitate to issue modest bills for the work of service mechanics. At the same time, the G8 gasoline engines are quite voracious. In the urban cycle, fuel consumption can reach 25 L/100 kilometers. Therefore, the most popular engine on the Range Rover is considered to be a 3-liter diesel engine, which is distinguished by decent efficiency. And today it is practically problem-free. The main sores that bothered him on his predecessor, the crankshaft liners installed without locks turned, are now completely cured. To do this, they even significantly changed the design of the engine. Although injection nozzles, a turbine and a high-pressure fuel pump are still at risk. Therefore, the issue of the quality of diesel fuel is very acute. Nevertheless, with proper maintenance and the use of high-quality diesel fuel and oil, these nodes often nurse up to 250 to 300,000 kilometers. Approximately the same and even more nursed 8-speed automatic transmission ZF. However, one-time breakdowns also happen from time to time. The valve body may fail. The torque converter or gearbox control unit may need to be replaced. Although in general, we repeat, the box is considered quite reliable. However, some sores come out on relatively fresh specimens. Sometimes, even on modest runs, it can suddenly go into emergency mode. As a rule, this happens due to clogging of the filter, which changes along with the pallet for 25,000 to 33,000 rubles. If the automatic transmission is depressed at the moment of driving at speeds over 130 km/h, the rear gearbox and axle shafts fail along the way. Well, if this happened during the warranty period. Otherwise, repairs may require up to 150,000 rubles. At the same time, the all-wheel drive transmission is by no means burdened with problems. It is only necessary to periodically change the lubricant in the transfer case and gearboxes, and even better after each off-road foray. Although the vast majority of Range Rover owners never leave the pavement. If the transmission hardware is generally reliable, then the control electronics sometimes presents unpleasant surprises. For example, the gear selector washer may suddenly lock up. It simply does not move up when the engine is started. The fact is that the selector is recessed in the same plane with the console, and when the engine starts, it smoothly moves up. The gears are switched by turning the puck. It looks very stylish. So, the puck simply does not want to leave from their back, or, having barely risen, it immediately falls and hides. Naturally, the car cannot move at the same time. This problem was common on the first 4th generation Rangers. Now the problem is already solved, and we have learned how to eliminate it at minimal cost. If the officials change the assembly only for 50 to 60,000 rubles, then some private craftsmen or services return mobility to the puck for only 2,000 to 3,000 rubles. The chassis is also full of servos and control electronics, which sometimes causes panic not only for SUV owners, but also for dealers. Sometimes, due to knocks in the front suspension, the entire front suspension was changed along with the levers and steering rack. However, active anti-roll bars were to blame, which made a rattling sound when driving through any road bumps. Until the British changed the design of the stabilizers, knocks in the chassis did not allow Range Rover drivers to relax. Only from the end of 2014, a modernized assembly began to be installed on the car along with reinforced lower arms. And the owners, along with the dealers, breathed more freely. Since there are no more problems in the chassis, except for the brake pads with discs, which do not differ in decent mileage, but at the same time are very expensive, from 25,000 rubles. for a set of 4. Despite the modernization, more than 100,000 kilometers rarely withstand the front levers, which come complete with silent blocks and ball bearings. There are also complaints about the active steering rack, when knocks appear in which dealers offer to replace it. It's good if the car is under warranty, because the price tag for it is cosmic, about 120,000 rubles. True, specialized workshops have mastered the repair of the steering mechanism and offer it in exchange for an old restored unit with an additional payment of 30 to 40,000 rubles. In the chassis, special attention should be paid to the pneumatic elements, more precisely to their rubber seals, which are recommended to be clean of dirt at each MOT. After all, the resource of the element itself depends on the condition of the anthers. If the cylinder starts to poison the air, the compressor, 70,000 rubles, will soon fail, having overstrained itself from constant work. By the way, to prolong the life of the compressor, make it a rule to clean it from dirt at every MOT. After 5 years of service, the pump walls can simply rot from corrosion. After 100,000 kilometers, active anti-roll bars will have to be repaired. They stopped knocking after the improvement of their design in 2014, but so far no one has canceled the natural wear and tear of many of its elements. On an SUV, wheel bearings are not durable enough, which sometimes require replacement after 50,000 to 70,000 kilometers of run. Parts are updated, assembled with the hub, and cost from 30,000 rubles apiece. As you can see, in the 4th generation Range Rover got rid of most of its congenital sores. There are practically no complaints about the motors and automatic transmission. The active suspension and all-wheel drive transmission have become more durable. There are, however, electrical failures, but they are not so frequent and will not require large repairs. It is more profitable to buy a used SUV younger than 2015, when all diseases have already been cured.